All right, so I'm here at a little coffee shop, uh, and I'm waiting for my old manager, who I had that conversation with yesterday, to come so we can talk about what a possible plan for moving forward is going to be and how to end up being as successful as possible and building whatever he has building. Uh, but in the meantime, I'm about to start my daily journaling. I got to backtrack and actually put in the workout I did today. I officially put in my 2 weeks yesterday, so now everything is going to be centered around trying to figure out how to grow, how to do this all online. And so I'm going to be going to a handful of different businesses, trying to see if they can do some marketing for me. I'm going to do some work for like going to the richest neighborhoods in town and literally just knocking on doors. Uh, so there's a lot that's coming, and there's a lot of things that I want to try and figure out how to do. But because I am getting serious about social media, today I've spent a good portion of time just clipping up some of my YouTube videos. And so I'm going to just be running that way, posting as many clips from my YouTube videos as possible, recording more YouTube videos, recording like this, uh, and just figuring out how to make my vlog actually work out. And so I'm so excited, and I'm very excited about this conversation I'm about to have with James. But oh, one of the worst things, if you look at this tripod I got right here, my camera should be set up on there, but I forgot the little attachment that goes in here. So I'm kind of SOL when it comes to recording. That's why you're so far over there and to my side, because I couldn't have you on the table here. Uh, but I do want to get clips of this conversation. I think it's going to be so interesting. But also, I love this spot, the Bearded Barista. This is arguably going to be one of my staple places once I get done doing trim work for the day, to just come, sit down, clip some videos, and do whatever responsibilities I have in terms of online training, whether it's marketing, building ad campaigns, whatever. And so I'm already knowing very soon, once I get a couple thousand of revenue just coming in, then I'm going to start hiring some people to offload some of the work that I have to do. Uh, there he is. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend. Hold on. Ugh. How you doing? Uh, as a question, would you mind if this recorded?
Uh, yeah, I don't. We're
Uh,
just gonna be talking real business.
well,
Well, yeah.
got a mic and everything, so
Uh, there are gonna be some things. Then I think we'll need to talk about off
oh,
off camera
100%.
for sure. But
100%.
yeah,
Uh, but for anybody who's new to this, this is my old personal training manager, but now turned just true mentor. One of the one of the greatest men I've had the opportunity to actually meet, spend time with, and get to learn about. Um, and so his mindset's really been impacting me and been helping me on my 100-day journey. And I haven't been doing the best, but he's definitely been holding me more accountable and making sure that I'm getting what I need done. So I'm just very excited to have this conversation.
dang, well, that's one hell of an introduction. So,
Hey,
yeah,
you're a
I
great
like the way that
man.
you said that. You know, what I mean, you haven't been doing the best, but you're going. I'm like, it's always it's progress, not perfection, and that's what I see.
100%.
You're making progress, and I think if you just keep doing that, anything you want is gonna come to you. So, cool.
100%. And I think this transition we're both on actually plays a huge part in that actually working out, because just in the process of deciding whether or not I was going to put my 2 weeks in, I just started getting more and more excited. Like, I mean, I'm taking a risk, but actually making that jump and just going for it is so exciting. And now it's really just elevate, do the simple stuff over and over and continue with it.
For sure. Like when you say you're taking a risk, I'm like, that's true. But in reality, it's like, well, you were taking a risk before too. You know what I mean? Just who were you taking the risk for?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's, hey, I'm taking the risk, giving up my time that I don't get back. I'm getting up and putting my energy out to try to progress something. And is it for me or is it for somebody else? You were already taking a risk. What you're just doing is shifting that risk. You're shifting that energy towards hopefully you know, to
100%.
your vision, your goal, and then you just put some people that you align with, and hopefully you see beautiful things happen. So that's
100%.
where we're at.
And if you wouldn't mind talking about it on camera, uh, what is your perspective on the whole situation that happened yesterday? Because I went and worked out at 5 today, and Shannon was there, Sam was there, um, but even like Dree and Ryan, they all were like, "Dude, what happened with James?" And like, it's at a point where it seems like everything's starting to fall down low key.
Yeah, it's what I think it is, and I'm not here to down talk or talk crap about anybody, Terrell. What I think is that you have some people who are in a system who have invested a lot into a system, and so they really think, hey, this system is going to be the thing that works. That's what they're
Yeah,
hoping. Um, I think that if you're from the outside looking in and say you're not maybe so emotionally tied from it, you can take a little bit more of a nuanced perspective of it. I think that these people that you're mentioning, I think maybe you've seen it before too. A lot of the people that have just come in and out have looked and said, hey, this doesn't seem to be working like you guys think it would.
yeah,
And my own personal belief is saying, hey, we have a bunch of very talented people, but their strengths are all unique to themselves. And so rather than trying to get everyone to fit into a certain little box, I don't want you to rely on the strengths of these people, help cover each other's weaknesses, and see if we can push the ball forward that way. Even if it's outside of this box that they're telling you to do, if we create success with this, then I imagine people will have to listen at least.
hundred
For the
percent.
past year, that's what I've been trying to do. Look at a system that's obviously been broken a bunch. I'm not the first manager that was in there.
Yeah,
They kind of have a carousel of people that go through there, which told me, hey, a system has to be broken if nobody is able to make this thing work.
yeah,
And so maybe something just different needs to be done. And we were able to stay pretty successful with it, as far as like stopping the bleeding that was going on when I first got there, hiring great people coming in with unique perspectives, and then turning it into something that seems to be moving in the right direction.
yeah,
I think just sometimes moving and, like you're saying, taking that risk. I think some people, when they're in the middle of risk, uh, they get uncomfortable with it, and it's easier to just try to, to jump back to the shore you were on, get back to cross that bridge that you tried to cross over, go back to the other side,
yeah,
and without trying to throw. Because I am not that kind of person. I don't want to throw shade at anybody, but I think that's just what happened. I think all of a sudden somebody saw a unique perspective, tried to go with it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden when the when the waters got rough, which is exactly going to happen in any risk that you take. Yeah, I think that it all of a sudden just went backwards, and I'm just very upfront. I'm very vocal with people, and so that's what happened. We would have very vocal conversations. We were very honest conversations, and I was not one to do it behind closed doors. I would do it behind closed doors, but I would do it like when we had our all staff meetings,
yeah, yeah,
group settings. I would voice the same things because I never wanted to say I was one person behind closed doors and somebody else in front of people's faces. And I think it's just a different direction that they wanted to go.
yeah,
Technically, if you ask them, hey, what happened? They're going to be like, oh, well, some paperwork wasn't filed like it needed to be. It wasn't like necessary paperwork.
yeah,
It was a paper copy of some forms that we have electronically, which if you go back through a lot of people, I mean, I wasn't the only one that doesn't have that lined up, but it was a reason, I think. And it did come right after we had some of those meetings where we had to be
yeah,
honest with them as a group, and I was particularly vocal in those meetings, then the correction started to come after that, which it's okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my things. Is from my perspective, it genuinely seemed as if we were being told honesty is the policy. We want you to be as vocal as possible. And then you started being vocal, and they were like, whoa, we didn't say be that vocal.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, if you ask for the blade, you may get cut. So it's like, be careful what you ask for. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I think that they were asking some things that, like asking questions to people who hadn't got a chance to see, like kind of behind the curtain, and that was where I had a unique perspective. They were
Yeah,
throwing numbers out, and hey, this is how it should happen. But I was able to speak freely because I was like, hey, I've sat in those meetings actually. I've seen what you're talking about, and this doesn't play out like you're saying.
yeah,
Nobody is
100%.
doing this. Like nobody in this entire region is doing what you're saying. But we're promising people coming in, like people like yourself, that's there that hey, I can have you have a great living. You can make a sustainable way of living. You can impact people's lives. You can do all of these things, um, and making promises off of systems that, up to this point, I haven't seen anyone be able to accomplish. And so at some point, I'm just like, okay, if the play's not working, that's okay.
Yeah,
Maybe we just need to alter it, or maybe we just need to take the strengths of our team. Maybe a play that works somewhere like in a bigger city, maybe needs to be altered for an area like ours. And maybe people agree with it, maybe they don't. That's not up to me. Again, I wasn't the one who made the initial investments to go in and say, hey, I'm going to try to run this business according to this model.
Yeah.
I was just the observer who just saw and could point out, hey, this model has not worked out at all, ever,
Yeah.
like it was supposed to. Because we promised these people we can do something for them, maybe we should. Maybe we should do something different.
Maybe we should have some integrity. Crazy
100%.
thought.
I don't even think sometimes it's integrity. I just think that, like, I got a unique perspective because I'm older than most people. So I've got a chance to make a lot of young mistakes, to have a lot of young mindsets, and then have to try to work my way through those. Um, and I think some people, and there's some things I'm trying to work through, things I'm trying to
Yeah.
mature on. I think some people are just at a different point in the process. And so it's where it's really key, like you had mentioned, mentorship. If you are going to be young and trying to navigate a world, then you better have quality mentors, and you need to make sure that those mentors have your best interests in mind, not a system's interests in mind, not their interests in mind, but your best interest, if they're going to take on that responsibility of being your mentor.
Yeah.
And if for whatever reason you think that's not the case, they're probably not the one for you. It's just,
100%.
it has to be real, it has to be authentic. And I think that there's great people there. I just think that any system that you're in where everyone up and down a whole chain, regardless of what they're seeing, all says yes to the person that's higher than them. Yes, that's a great idea. Yes, that's a great idea, all the way up. And there's never somebody saying, hold on. No, we don't all have the right answer. So this may not be the right way to do this, or I have a different perspective. Can we put this out in a public way? If you
Yeah.
don't have that kind of freedom, I just think that they might be trapped into something that is more about a system than less about the people that they're saying they're trying to serve.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the reason why I walked out of the like meeting yesterday is beginning that meeting. We'll keep
Yeah.
names out of it, but one was like, "Oh, we're trying to serve you. We're trying to put as much money in your pockets. We're trying to do this, and that." Uh, but then it was everything he talked about from that point moving forward was circling back to the same things that at least you and I, not so much some of the newer people, but we've tested over and over and over. We shifted our ways from doing it that way and saw instant success that was lasting. And as soon as they asked us to switch back, it ended up falling apart again. And so it was like, how much are you really trying to help the people who you're sending out to serve your community rather than trying to just have a certain level of control and dominance over the people who are meant to serve your community? Because it's like, I feel like that's where being able to truly delegate and actually say, okay, I see you have these skills and expertise. You go do whatever it is you need to. We'll start to see your process and mold that process to fit in with our system a little bit better instead of just saying, this is our system, mold everything you're doing around that. Because, I mean, the way I look at things is very sports oriented. But it's the same thing with like the NBA, the NFL. When you get a star athlete who comes in, they do things their specific way, but it's molding their specific way of going about things to actually the system that you're putting them in, rather than telling them, this is our system, you're going to fall exactly into this, because that's going to break down their game and it'll take an all-star down to being a regular star. But if you give them that creative freedom, it gives them that ability to grow and expand, and especially assimilate. I'd say more integrate rather than assimilate into a system that doesn't suit them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what you're saying, like, it's the difference, I think, between playing like at high school and even sometimes college levels, and then once you get to like a professional level. Like, yeah, whenever you are at more of an amateur level, you're at a younger level, then you do need to micromanage some things. They do, or those systems, that's what they do. Hey, this is what you do. You don't use the creativity. We're just going to hammer through the basics over and over and over and over. And usually that's coming from coaches who have a ton of experience. But once you get to the professional levels, you do bring in people who might give you some headaches, who might do some things against the grain because their vision, their understanding is at a professional level. So you know that, hey, they might see something that I don't. I know the
100%.
military does that too. Jocko Willink talks about that, is he has people on his team and he has this overall vision of what needs to happen. Or he'll bring, hey, here's a problem. But then what he goes to his people and just says, here's the problem. How would you solve it? Instead of saying, I'm going to micromanage step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to check in with you every 5 minutes to make sure you're doing steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and see how it works in the back end. He says, I brought you in because of who you are. You're on this mission, this team, whatever, because of who you are. Here's the problem. How would you solve it? And I think doing what we do, the ones of us that have outside of this place had the discipline and to put the time, the knowledge, the effort, blood, sweat, and tears to get ourselves in a place of real health, and even help other people do that. I think that we're not coming in with just an amateur level of looking at things. Like you're bringing me in because I've done this before, and I'm coming in to talk to people who have never done this before. And so when they're advising, when somebody who's never done a process before is advising me on the best way to do that process, it is difficult because I'm like, oh yeah, when I was early in the process, I did think like you. I realized quickly that that is not a feasible way to do this, and I was able to pivot. And that's what it is. And even the gentleman you're talking about, I think he's a very high integrity guy. I think that his heart is in the right place, and I think that if he was outside of a system, I think that gentleman, could take over the world if he wanted to. But and he's just chosen, he's brought into the system that he's in. Fantastic. I hope it works out wildly for him. But from what's seeing that's actually happening, as far as getting to see the numbers, getting to see the results, talking to people who were in my positions in other clubs, talking to people with the boots on the ground and asking their opinions, it was universal. Like everyone says the same thing, has the same issues, different markets, different cities, very diverse group of people. Everybody had the same thoughts. I'm like, okay, you should probably listen to your players if they're all telling you the same thing.
Yeah.
But there's not a whole lot of room for that. And I think that I said, I'm going to die on this hill. I'm going to keep saying what I need to, and if it gets me to the point where I'm out the door, then I'm out the door.
Yeah.
This is not the end-all, be-all for me. I'm living for a purpose. I'm working for a purpose, not for a particular paycheck from a particular place.
100%.
So it is what it is.
I dig that.